better. So let's just have a second of coming into our bodies. I think a few more people might be arriving late into the room, so that is possible, but we'll see. Um, Landing in your experience of whatever is happening right now without cutting off anything or feeling like you need to push anything away, just allowing anything that comes up, anything in your awareness to really be present and for you to be present with that. Accepting whoever, whatever, however anything shows up in your experience as best you can. And let's just put in this intention that as we're doing all of this work, our own higher self is always there with us, helping guide us so that it's not me doing anything for you, it's really you doing for you, whatever needs to be done. So take everything in as it suits you, meaning if you want to go in a totally different direction, you're completely allowed to do whatever you want to do. This is really for you and for your animal body and for your organic nature to be as healthy as possible and to come into that with as much acceptance, accept the things that you can't change and capacity to change the things you can. But for right now, we're not worrying about changing. We're just worrying about allowing. We're not worrying about anything. We're just coming in. And let's add a theta breath to that. So that's a soft, soft hiss exhale. And it'll take as long as it takes. You can inhale, take resting breaths whenever you need them. Just gentle, soft theta breath on the exhale. Inviting your nervous system to slow down and to come into rest and digest, soothe, and settle. So that's your parasympathetic nervous system. When we slow our breathing, when we slow our exhale, when we come into presence with ourselves, it's a lot easier to drop down into that processing mode. And that processing mode is where we digest our food, we metabolize, we digest what's going on in our life. So inviting that online. And also allowing any micro movement or any macro movement to come up. So if anything big happens, you want to move big, go for it. You want to just allow your body to be in the wave of the breath, also fine. Feeling into what it is to be in this dynamic exchange of being in the moment, dynamic exchange of awareness and input, right? Stuff is coming, we're noticing. Maybe it's noticing on a sensation level inside our body. Maybe it's our senses taking in what's around us. But this dynamic relationship of being a person and allowing it to just happen, allowing ourselves to tune into that. Still working with the theta breath a little bit longer. Although if you feel like the theta breath feels tiring or exhausting, just let it go and breathe naturally. Tune into the breath wave. And just for this short time together, inviting all parts of yourself back to yourself. So if there are parts of you that you send out on forays into the world, into the past, into the future, see if you can invite those parts back into yourself now, back to the participation in this moment. So it's not wandering off into other spaces, just inviting it in. If you still are wandering, that's okay. But if you can give the invitation to come back to yourself. And here's just one more thing to think about that if parts of you are returning into yourself, the environment they return into is loving and kind, a generous spirit, kindness, invitation and allowance, letting go of judgment, letting go of perfectionism, just allowing yourself to be with what is inside of you, part of you in the moment. And for me, my head really wants to do some meandering. So I'm allowing that head, neck, spine relationship to come online in movement. So allow anything in. You don't need to stay in this position. You can also be laying on the floor, standing, crawling, whatever feels good for you. Just letting your body do what it needs to do to start to unwind any kind of tightness, any kind of gripping, any kind of restriction, or any patterning that's held in your tissues that isn't serving you, that isn't aiming into your vitality. Listening into what your body wants to do, how your body wants to move, and allowing that to bubble up, to come forth. And if you feel, we've spent lifetimes of restricting movement, right? So if you feel like, oh, I don't know what to do, try just turning your head, feeling into what that feels like, or maybe a little arch and curl in your spine, a little twist, undulation, spiraling, anything that feels interesting. Invite in movement. So there's little micro movements or maybe big macro movements. Everything supported by the underlying breath wave, breath support, blood flow support, lymphatic support, all of it onlining in your body, coming into coherence. So as we downregulate, our systems can start to really work together. So one's not fighting the other one, but they're aligning, coming into fluidity together, coming into fluency together. And I'm going to let my arms go and sort of set them free and just let my hands do whatever they need to do. There's a concept in machine learning called motor babbling. And that's where machines, like complex machines, are learning how to move by trying things and getting it wrong until they get it right. And this is how babies also learn to move, right? Babies are doing a lot of motor babbling. And that motor babbling is building skill, it's building capacity or fine tuning our motor skills. So we're going to invite in motor babbling into our bodies where we're not imposing the way we should move. We're learning how we move. We're learning what's possible. So if you feel like you're doing a thing, let go of that and allow whatever is bubbling up to sort of bubble. It might take a long time for that to bubble up. Maybe there's just a lot of listening and waiting. Maybe there's some nudging. But inviting in this idea of motor babbling, if you didn't know how to move, how would you learn? So what can I do? How can these things engage with being? What am I as a living body? And how are these systems of fluidity, breath flow working together? And how can I move with that? So just inviting in this curiosity into the inquiry of being in the, I don't know how I move. What if I try different things? What if I come into my body as if it's the first time ever? What is possible? And learning from a non-judgmental place where it's just exploration. You can go on an adventure within your own body. Tuning into what feels good and what's curious. Oh yeah, and maybe there's even some relationship with the screen, or maybe not, right? Maybe you can see yourself or you can see me. And if your camera's off, totally fine. Maybe you see other people, but just letting anything that arrives, or even there's a cat over there washing, right? Anything that arrives, what is it like to feel my own self? Anything that arrives into your awareness is potential exploration material. So bringing that in. Inviting yourself to experience the spaciousness around you and within you in different ways, right? We've got the 3 dimensions, and then we can really move within different ways with the up, down, the side, side, the forward, backward. So letting yourself explore spaciousness. Not only is it what can this body do, it's also where can it go? Is there a place I haven't visited much before? I'm going to share sound and remember to do it. And just let us play with these ideas. So we're going to work with some ambient fields. It's Jeff Gersh's music. And let the sound sing to you. Let the sound move you. Let the sound offer different potential movements. I'm taking it down to the floor. Allowing the exploration to be whatever you need it to be right now, right? And we can add sounds anytime. So like when I let go of that sound, I can feel myself melting more into the floor. So don't deny yourself your own vocal cords or breath sounds. Let yourself make noise with that if it feels interesting. And again, just discovering, if nobody ever told you what you should look like or how you should move, if you didn't see your family moving and however they moved, how would you learn to move? If you came in with a mature intelligence, but still playful. What if you only saw octopus moving? How would you then think you should move? Or you only saw the trees or the water. And with the machines motor babbling, they're trying to learn how to do a task. For you, the motor babbling is only to find novelty, to find new patterning. We don't sort of heal in the old pattern. We got to invite in the new pattern for the healing to come in, for us to let go of whatever we're holding on to. We need to let go. Trusting that the guidance of your higher self is with you at all times, and just aligning yourself with that. Sometimes it's too much too soon, so you want to change things really slowly or let yourself release tension patterns really slowly so it's not too destabilizing. So with the theta breath, you're only doing the hiss on the exhale. The inhale's through your nose. Most breathing, it's healthiest if it comes with the inhale through our noses. You can also experiment with resistance, with pushing and pulling. So it's not just like you're turning into a pool of mush, but you can push, you can pull, you can grab. sometimes we don't know what we're holding on to until we've really grabbed and then let go, right? Or, oh, this is it. Oh, I can let that go. So don't feel like everything is just a smushy goo of releasing. It's also new tension patterns moving through. And within these explorations, it's often very easy to feel what feels painful, to feel the tight spots or the sort of quote, air quotes, problem areas. Let yourself also feel what feels good and delicious. And if nothing really feels good and delicious, imagine what it would feel like if something felt good and delicious and move towards that also. So inviting in deliciousness. You can shift back and forth between the painful thing and the good things, or the deliciousness and the more online awarenesses. Inviting micro movement into your body so that on this deep level, your fascia and your nervous system are renegotiating the internal space, maybe even the external space, but really internal space. So we're hydrating tissue, we're giving your inner body this opportunity to like drink the ambrosia or like have the healing nectar just through novel movement, just allowing things to be slightly different and curious. Movement hydrates tissue. Movement stimulates lymph flow. So does breath. And when we change our relationship to gravity, we're giving ourselves all these opportunities to just renegotiate the inner space in the safeness of your own home, in the safety of your own this moment here where you are. Feeling free to pause at any time, allowing your experience to deepen. Part of the way that our brain makes up the world is by remembering what we've seen in the past. So we don't have to take it all in and make it all up, right? There's this predictive processing going on where we think we know how it is. And so with the movement, as soon as you sort of think you know what's going on or how you're going to move next, invite yourself to go somewhere a little bit different. Slow it down, change the space so that we start to break that we start to open our brains to the capacity to see what's really there or to sense what's really there in the moment as opposed to creating this plan that we already know really well, but allowing novelty to come in a really gentle, loving way. There is a cat who is dangerously close to the computer right now and may do a drive-by, a little walk through. Okay, I'm gonna share the kitty for one moment with everybody. He's got David Bowie eyes. And then remove what was making it so exciting for him to be up there. Yeah. The kitty is part of the what is. As you're in your exploration, if it feels okay, ask yourself, can I go deeper? Micro movement can be really slow. Macro movement can be really slow. Your awareness may be very localized in one area, or it may be very global, shifting from place to place. Allow all of that. It's the stream of being, it's the stream of your awareness, the flow of your awareness. It's not really possible to get this wrong. Allowing your nervous system to be suspended within the fluid of your body of water. And as it's suspended in there, it can move and does move with your fascia, right? Our nervous system is alive, it's buzzing, humming, and thrumming. And as we move, it is also moving. So letting anything that needs to be uh, received in your nervous system, any nourishment, letting that come in, letting any waste go out, allowing that exchange of energy. And maybe the things that you're ready to release out of your nervous system are events, things that happen to you, or things that are happening within your body. Just trusting that your nervous system has its own intelligence. And in relationship with your movement and the fascia and the flows of all the fluids in your body, your nervous system is doing exactly what you need it to do, or what it needs to do. Everything it is doing for you. And we could say it is you. It's not separate, right? The body, mind, all one thing. This is a dynamic experience that you are in. None of it is separate. And if it ever becomes too much going into the sort of awareness of being, you can always stop, take a breath, take a break, have some water, go to the bathroom, pet the cat. Release the pressure from the system. Letting go of how you think you should be or who you think you should be, and allowing yourself to just be. Allowing your body to move from flow, allowing your body to move from the fluids, allowing your body to move from the breath. So it's not the same as like the sort of mechanical model of the biomechanical body. It's more the biomorphic body, right? This alive, living, fluid, intelligent system that's, as our nervous system is suspended in our body, we are kind of suspended in this world, in this life, with everything around us. And when we shift our internal perspective, even just the slightest bit, everything on the outside readjusts, renegotiates. And the exploration can take you anywhere, right? It can be on the ground, standing, laying down, and it could be very still or very full of movement. There isn't a right or wrong. Allowing wave-like movement to move through you, tentacle-like movement, lightness, strength. doesn't have to look good. It can be really weird. Inviting in like deep cellular vibrance, right? Vibrancy, vibration, clearing, shifting. Sometimes the patterning is like old ancestral patterning. Sometimes the patterning is cultural, familial patterning, or political patterning, or like capitalist media patterning, right? Hard to avoid these days. So, what do you need to let go of? What ideas don't fit you? What sensations can just fall away? A lot of people want to like achieve these altered states of consciousness, like through plant medicine or whatever. It's like if you just sort of change the way you're moving, you're going to feel different. So, inviting in that nature healing into your body, that elemental healing, right? Earth, air, water, fire, space. Developing your own relationship with them so that they are there for you. There's nourishment in those elements. What if you had like even 1% more ease with yourself? 5% more ease with yourself, right? Listening to your own truth and honoring that. It's very hard often in this world to really honor the truth of yourselves and yourself. So you can forgive yourself for anything imperfect, but at the same time, just invite that in. Can I be in coherence and collaboration, symbiotic relationship with myself? Just gonna fade this out. And let us come into just a little bit of time for ourselves in silence without the influence of the music. Just a few minutes. I'm going to get back down on the floor. You can still move or not, just letting yourself process the processing. There's nothing wrong with being shiny, clearing the muck. A lot of times, I think the world kind of wants to squish us in, but we don't have to get squished. We can just go, oh, I'm just going to take up space and not take it personally. right? I don't need to take any of that stuff personally. I can still just be who I am and accept that. I mean, accept myself as I am, not accept any squishing. You may start to notice like little shifts or changes and then kind of, or think, oh, this thing happened and it was so good. I want to go back to that. All of it's just movement. All of it's going to keep moving. So nothing, there's no stuckness within it. We can't go back to what was. We can't, create this perfect thing. We just have to be alive in what is. So even like these practices, each time you do it, it's going to be slightly different. The breaths, the sounds, the movements, allow them to be like water or like air, like they just keep shifting and changing and adjusting. So we don't sort of reify it or get, attached to an idea of how things are in our bodies or in life. Like it's shifting and changing. And being able to be with the shifting and changing is really the magic of like, oh, this is what's happening now, and be with that. I'm going to stop recording.